KC offense out of the huddle, ready for their next drive. They've shown precious little here offensively thus far as they try again with a first down now. Trying to shake off the interception. He'll look to throw. And that'll wind up incomplete. Trying to give his man room to run under it, but it's second down. Well, Charles, if you think so far the early part of the preseason, who has stood out? If you take a peek back at the draft, the first round, it was pretty defensively minded, but there were 3 quarterbacks taken. Kyler Murray first, Daniel Jones 6th, Dwayne Haskins 15th. Of those guys, they've looked pretty good.
I agree with you, Brandon. When you talk about those 3 quarterbacks, and you're right, the rest of the draft, we're talking about big linemen, right? We're talking about defensive players, not a lot of skill players in the first round. But let's take the quarterbacks very quickly. Kyler Murray, by acclamation, went to Arizona. Everyone excited about it. And I think his team remains excited about his prospects. They're eager to see him play. He became the starter as soon as he was drafted. Daniel Jones, that was a different situation in New York. The fans weren't real excited about him coming in. But the reason they drafted him has a similar demeanor and talent to Eli Manning, and he's acquitting himself quite nicely in the early going. And Dwayne Haskins a little more up and down in Washington, but they love the big arm of this guy, and he's back at home. Remember, he grew up in Potomac, Maryland.
Mahomes completes that one to Watkins, and he's going to get this one down to the edge of the red zone. A good pickup there, 21 yards. Operating from the red zone now, Mahomes. Throw left side, taken in by Hill. 7 yards, the pickup on the pitch and catch.
One thing you're hoping for when you run drag routes, you're able to hit a receiver in stride, and he can pick up a lot of yardage after the catch. But in this situation, the defense was effective, able to stop him before you get a good head of steam going.
Steps away to his left. And down inside the 10 here before he's out of bounds right around the 7. 7 yards there and a first down.
Certainly making his presence felt in both the pass and the run game. He's having an impact.
Yeah, and his first carry of the game right there. He had hurt him with his arm. Now he's showing that he can shuffle the puppies as well. Working from the gun, Mahomes. Flushed out right. His pass caught at the 4. That's good for a gain of 6, second and goal. And just in general, Charles, on a play like that, how tough is it for the defense to account for a running back essentially being a receiver downfield?
It's very difficult, especially if the running back has skills like a receiver, and you're aware of that before the game even begins. So throughout your practice sessions, you're going to want to be aware of him. Where is he lining up? What can he do? What kind of damage can he do to us downfield? And who can match up with him without weakening our overall defense? You're exactly right. It's a tough task to match up to him.
2 minutes remaining in this first half of football. We remind you that coming up in 2 minutes' time, we'll hand you off to Orlando, where Jonathan Coachman will have highlights and analysis of this first half of action. And he is in. Touchdown, Kansas City. Tyreek Hill with his second touchdown here in this first half. And the Chiefs are able to extend their lead. He's having a nice little first half here, partner.
And it's a first half that leaves us anticipating what can still come. I mean, 2 touchdowns already here through the second quarter. There could be plenty more before this game is over.
The extra point splits the uprights, and the lead now stands at 13. Now after the touchdown, here's Butker on to kick it away. This will be fielded on the back line of the end zone. And from back there, a wise move. He'll just sit on this one, and it'll come out to the 25. The Texans offense ready to go here for their next drive. And on the last go-around, they really couldn't get anything going.
They had to punt from deep inside their own territory, which means they're going to lose the field position battle as a general rule. What they're looking for now is a little more consistent.
The ball popped in the air and intercepted. Picked up by Ron Thornhill. And he returns it into enemy territory down to the 45-yard line.
When a team's turned it over 3 times in the first half, we just look at the offense and say, guys, what are you doing? But instead, we really should be looking at the defense. They've created the takeaways. 2 interceptions, 1 caused fumble. They played awfully well swarming to the ball here in the first half.
Now a first down carry. It's Williams. And he's tackled a yard short of the marker. Good gain of 9 on first down.
I know the toss play begins with the guy taking the snap and turning around and tossing it to the runner. But where the real intrigue is, can they seal the edge, whether it's an offensive tackle or a tight end, in the direction they want to run the football? If they do that, that's the result that you get, that type of a gain. If they don't, oftentimes it's not a very successful play.
The previous run, good for 9. Here's second and a yard. They run the counter. It's Williams, and he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage. The tally there, -2 yards, brings up third down. He came out ready to play. That's 3 tackles for a loss, Charles. We're only in the second quarter.
And that's problematic for the guys trying to run offense, because that means he's got a pretty good idea of what they're doing and is actually beating them to the point of attack and making those plays. Might have to think about some misdirection or something to try and get him away from the ball.
Meanwhile, on third down, they take a shot at the end zone, but it's incomplete.
You hear the calls for a penalty, but I just don't think so. I think in this situation, the defender was making sure his guy couldn't hold on to the football. So I don't see anything that warranted a flag.
No, I'm with you. There was contact, but I'm happy they kept that flag in the back pocket. That's running out of steam, and it won't get there. He left it just short. No good, and this score will stay right where it is. And that's the risk of the long field goal miss here at this stage of the second quarter. You give up great field position.
And that gives them one more opportunity to make something happen and something big. And we've seen crazy stuff happen at the end of halves.
Trying to shake off the interception from the last drive. He'll look to throw. Man open, that's Kiki QT, complete. Now the Texans will burn the first of their timeouts as the clock will stop with 33 seconds to go in the first half. Watson now 4 out of 10 throwing the ball in this first half, but he's got a first down here.
Mike is 59. Mike is 59. They're not ready for this, man. They're not ready for this. They still playing soccer. Y'all playing the wrong football. Mike 54. Mike's 59. Mike's 59.
From the gun, here's Watson. Over the middle, open is Thomas. Just a yard on the catch there. It'll be 2nd and 9.
Is that not the very definition of a tough yard gain?
Now, is that one where as the receiver you go to your quarterback and say, why'd you even throw that?
Yeah, I think you do, and I think you wonder what type of a route are you going to send me on that only 1 yard's going to be the result? If I'm going to go in there and take contact, let's go ahead and get something out of it, not just 1 yard.
They only got a yard out of that last completion, and that makes this 2nd and 9. Now it's Watson. He's going to look deep, end zone for Hopkins. And that will be incomplete with a clock showing 18 seconds now to go. I know he wants to get his team back in the game, but a 50-50 ball right there that maybe was a little questionable.
Yeah, he's pretty lucky to get that one back. I think that sometimes these quarterbacks play with a lot of confidence that borders on arrogance, and that can put your team in some Dutch.
Yeah, especially maybe want to look at some safer routes after the interception he had that ended their last drive.
Mike, go. Come on, boy. Come on, boy. Go. Don't be scared of it. 44 to Mike. 44. I'm trying.
Throwing on third down. Watson. Wide open receiver complete. The Texans going to signal for their third and final timeout as they'll stop it with 13 seconds to play in half number 1.
56. 19. 56.
the red zone now. Watson to the end zone, but it's incomplete. He couldn't get the hook up there that time with Thomas, but it's going to be second down.
It leads to second and 10.
An incomplete pass on first down. That leads to a second and 10.
56, Mike, 56. 56 to Mike. 56.
Watson throwing again. And this is going to be intercepted. Picked by Kendall Fuller. And his guys have got it back at the closing stages of the first half.
Intercepted. The Chiefs take over first and 10 at their own 20-yard line.
And this should be the final play before the quarter ends. And they'll indeed start on the ground to run that clock. And this will leave them a yard short. Nice pickup of 9 yards on first down. That's it for the first half. 2 more quarters to go. We'll